up the channel into St. Mark's. It was the middle of the night, and there wasn't a soul around to help. Jim told me our only choice was to wait for the tide to come up. I had no better solution. With each wave, we heard the scratching of our hull against the oyster bed. We weren't in any danger, since the water was shallow enough to stand in, should it come to that, not to mention warm, unlike the waters in Alaska. But the feeling of helplessness and the sound of the boat being damaged dampened the light spirit we'd shared all day. Eventually, with nothing else to do, I fell asleep. "The stars are moving." Jim's voice startled me awake. I wasn't sure if I'd been asleep for hours or minutes. "Huh? The stars are moving. The tide's come in." He was right. We were floating. Jim turned the motor on and slowly backed us into the channel. He grew up diving for bottles in the St. Mark's River and zipping up and down it in powerboats, but we both realized we still shouldn't have done this after dark. By the time we arrived at the St. Mark's Marina, it was almost morning. As Jim and I settled into our berths, he told me that the spot where we were grounded was smack in the middle of Alligator Bay. I didn't know whether he was joking, but we smiled at each other and, soothed by the rocking of the boat against the dock, fell asleep. On Wednesday morning, September 28th, Ken and his bride-to-be, Valerie, drive the 20 miles from Tallahassee to St. Mark's to meet us and spend the day. We lunch, walk, and shop. Jim's father, also named Jim, and his stepmother, Mary, join us for dinner. It is my first time meeting them. As the stranger in the group, I feel a bit on the outside, but Valerie is a sweetheart. Jim Sr. and Mary are lovely, and there is lots of joking and kindness. I eat grouper for the first time. Everything is pleasant, fun, and serene. After dinner, the 6 of us part ways. Jim and I drive to a historic local lighthouse, said to be the first in the New World, which sits at the mouth of the St. Mark's River 6 miles from town. Though it's late by the time we get back to the boat, and the sun has long since set, the thick Florida humidity still hangs heavy, and the small fans on the boat provide little relief. By the time we settle into bed, Jim in the V-berth, me in the quarter berth in the back of the boat, we're both irritable. A silly argument about nothing takes root, but we both see that each of us is reacting to the heat and the hour. We apologize, kiss, and go to sleep. It's 3 a.m. when I feel the boat lurch. I'm startled by the sound of footsteps, the 3rd time in 2 days that I've been jolted out of sleep. I jump out of the narrow quarter berth and alert Jim, who scrambles to his feet. Suddenly, there's a knock on the companionway, the door separating the upper deck from the cabin below. I ask who's there. It's Ken. I slide the trio of panels up and out of their grooves. Ken is looking down at Jim and me. I wonder what he's doing there. What could be important enough that he drive back to the marina at such a late hour? The answer is obvious on his face. Ken is normally the kind of person who smiles by default. During our day together, he'd been even happier than usual, a man thrilled to have found his other half. Now, his face has changed as completely as the difference between the sunset I'd loved the night before and the darkness that had followed it. His eyes are misting, and he has the kind of expression no one ever wants to see on someone else's face. It's the kind of expression that says, "I'm sorry for what I'm about to tell you." 2. Every parent knows that you live in fear from the moment your child is born. At first, you just pray they'll keep breathing every night and wake up again in the morning. Later, you worry that they might fall in with the wrong crowd, do something dumb to fit in, get in the car with a stranger. Sometimes you let your mind go to the darkest places, maybe only as a way of being able to shove the bad thoughts aside and remind yourself it won't happen. You live in a safe town. You've taught them to make good decisions. They have sensible friends. You falsely convince yourself of their immunity every way you can.